hell, Jason. I'm here to return the favor. I'm feeling strange, trapped in the grave. All alone, I rot in my own skin. So sick, I say, a choking restraint. The perfect plane laid down my own name. Girls rising. Girls rising. The stars remain, a deeper to see. A black field, blinded rings, flies of bitter I cling to the ones that remain. Exile without reason. The time to kill us, the freedoms we feel this like someone is clear to blow. We're building the power, strengthening the arm, and building the wall. Welcome to your demonstration.
People and things over there like something small.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Spawn Review, episode 15. We have a new co-host going to be joining the shows whenever he gets a chance. Paul, what's going on, man?
What is going on? Happy to be here. Happy to talk Spawn.
Hell yes. And obviously, we have the man himself, the Gooch here. Just our local celebrity, as you could say,
Yeah.
in the house.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Settle down. Settle down. It's just the name. And Manscaped,
That's what
I'm
it
looking
is.
at you.
It's good marketing. You know,
Yes.
as soon as you started going by the Gooch, I mean, that it took off. It's
Yeah.
correlation right there, everybody.
Yeah.
Market yourselves, you know?
Almost at 15K. Getting there. Almost. At
Dude.
15K.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So
Hell yeah. Everybody go. I got links below. I got to add Paul's links here as we go forward as well. But we're the Spawn Review is growing. I like it. Get some more people in here, more thoughts and opinions on the stories. So I'm looking forward to diving into Rat City, which is a spin-off of the new Spawn universe, which we'll talk about here in a second. But before we do, let's hit the chat and say hey and hello and all that. Mark Pengram is number one in the chat and number one in our hearts. So I bought every issue of this that's come out so far, but still haven't read any of them. Well, same here.
Yeah,
we're
same
going to talk
here,
about
yeah.
tonight.
yeah.
And I have the others just sitting over there. So, you know, it's time. You're trying to find the time to read all this stuff. Hail Lore's in the house. Great to see you, brother. Past Master Dan, my man, is in here as well. Great to see you. As always, Cosmic Studios, member of the channel, is rocking and rolling with us, as well as John. Hail the chat. Hail to you. Dennis Kelly, one of our local hero colorists, is in the house. Says, hail all. Hope everyone's weekend was good. I got to finish coloring some excellent work. And on to the next. Yes, sir. You keep up the great work. Weekend was good. I took my daughter out to the zoo. She had a
Nice.
hell of a good
Oh.
time. Yeah.
Mama Badger. What's up?
Mama
Mama?
Badger's in the house. Thank you for joining us. Love
Oh
you.
yeah, big heart for Big Mama P.
Absolutely. Void Eyes. Hail to you. Thank you for joining us. Remember, the channel time scales is in the house. Oh, two
Grego.
shows tonight. Cool. We always do two. Well, I can't say we always do. The goal is to always try to do two shows on Monday with the Spawn Review and right after Appreciating Comic Book Art Live with Kayla as she joins the show. But it doesn't always happen that way. Astro Zombie, member of the channel's in the house. Hail to the chat. Hail to you, man. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Reading is for nerds, says Wiley J. I agree. I'm trying to broaden my horizon and read more because anybody that comes to the show, the channel, they know that I'm mostly about art.
Listen, this motherfucker he doesn't read comics, but fucking he write a book. Jesus.
Who knew?
Yeah. Damn.
Gotta consume as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm trying to consume more. I'm trying to read more. All right, what do you got here? So, okay, is that the reprinted cover?
Yeah, that's the one I got. I thought this was way cooler.
That is a cooler cover.
That is a cooler cover.
I kind of get
Although-
obsessed with doing the first prints because that's just weird, So I got the first print
Yeah, that's the one I got.
cover.
For my
Yeah.
shop, I
The-
went weeks later. They sold out, so that's why.
Oh yeah. The reprint cover of this that's got like a white background.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool too, though. I like that, the version of the covers.
Yeah, they always do really well. I like a lot of the Spawn covers. They pick up a lot of good guys for that.
You know, I'm gonna for the most part, I usually like Spawn covers. Lately, though, and I don't know if it's because of the Spawn contest they ran, where they got like I don't know how many covers they can use, but there's a lot of covers out there I feel are kind of lackluster. And I only say that because I came from the era of Greg Capullo, who always had badass covers. Not very storytelling covers, but they were just fucking phenomenal pinup covers that you see in the store and you just gravitate and want to pick it up.
The cover beat of the newest Spawn issue was sick. I have it upstairs.
Which one was that? Was that where he was on the building, or was it the other one?
Yeah, let me see. I think I have a picture of it.
Because I got the cover where Spawn's on the building. He's just kind of perched up on the building. Really cool perspective, looking up.
Yeah, it's like that.
Oh, that one. Okay, no, I got the other one.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, that one. Yep.
It was really drawn really well. It's a blurry picture, but it's like
no. Yep, I know what you're talking about for sure. And be here next week at 9. We're going to be going over the next issue, which I really liked. Again, everybody knows our love here for the ongoing story and Spawn. We talk about it every month when it comes out. And this was another banger of an issue, a little bit more slowed down than the first few issues have been of the storyline, more action based. I thought this had a little bit more, backstory into it. So we'll dive into that next week at 9. But we're going to dive into a multiverse comic, which I didn't know until I read this. Somebody explained this to me a long time ago. They said this was kind of like Spawn's version of like 2099, but it is, but it isn't to a point, like I guess maybe it is. I don't know. I didn't really read a lot of 2099.
I'll reserve my opinions for a little bit.
No, we'll get into it. We're going to dive into this first issue and we're going to see what the panel feels like, because I think there's a variant of different opinions, which is great. That's what I want on the show. Zach is joining us. What's going on, brother?
Not much. Just hopped out of the shower, so I'm ready to go.
Nice, smelling good. Got the gooch and the taint all cleaned up. I like that.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
Did you manscape?
I actually did manscape, and if you want proof,
before we get rolling, Zach, if guys you don't know, if you're new to the show, Zach down here draws every episode, draws a character, a Spawn character on the show. Last week, I believe he did Tremor. Which looked awesome.
Oh yeah, that was.
If you guys didn't, follow Zach on social media. X primarily, if I can speak, is where I'm at. But he shows off all the work. You also see the high res shots of that. What are you drawing tonight, man?
Through your recommendation, I'm going to be doing Violator.
Yes.
I'm going to do the skinny Violator. I always loved that look more than the buff, like jacked shit. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
honestly, I'm not really a fan of the buff Violator because I'm such a big fan of the classic skinny, weird looking. It was when you looked at the original Violator, it was just so odd, right? And that was the point of it, being a monster. It was just odd to look at. It was weird, like looking at a spider. It's they just
I don't mind the buff look. It's kind of like obviously these characters are going to progress after so many issues. But, like I always loved, preference-wise, I always loved that skinny look,
Yeah.
It's weird to think that, Violator was pretty much the actual mastermind behind everything than Malboja was. So he was just like riding the wave until his moment of strike was ready.
I'm actually glad they kind of went that way with the storyline because he's such a cool character to have just a kind of more of a comical but dangerous, sidekick. Having him be a little bit more,
Do you think it was a good direction? Because it's kind of like, it's, obviously, Violator and Spawn are yin and yang out of all the characters.
Yeah, it's like a Batman Joker thing,
Exactly. Now, did you think it was a good approach for them to kind of be like, oh, yeah, no, Violator was pretty much behind it all?
I liked it. I mean, what do you guys think on the panel here, being Spawn fans?
I like it.
When was it unveiled that he was in charge of everything?
I can't remember the issue.
Issue 300.
Oh, was it 300?
Yeah.
Okay. I read it. Forgot that.
Yeah, so did I. I gotta go back one of these days.
But he just got mopped. So is he really running it? Just got mopped.
Well, but you put it this way though. With Al Simmons really Like no spawn is ever supposed to live after they deplete all their energy. So Al Simmons, out of all the generations of spawn there's ever been, he's the first one to gain his energy back after losing it. Which honestly, if you're a mastermind villain and you know, like you're planning for everything, and then next thing you know, like your winning stroke is ready to go, and then you get bamboozled because you're like, what the fuck? Like, since when was the Uno reverse pulled? You know, he wasn't prepared for that at all.
Yeah, I think it was just a good way to just give more depth to the character. I think is what I kind of liked about it, because I mean we had 200 issues of kind of the same Violator. You know, he comes back, gets killed every once in a while, comes back. You know,
He died again, so he'll be back soon. He'll be
Yeah,
back.
and he'll
by
be back
400.
again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Void Eye says the skinny Violator was unsettling. That's the word I was looking for, unsettling, which makes it more otherworldly, in my opinion. Absolutely. FS Gaming is in the house. Hail to you, brother. I can't wait for the Violator miniseries. Yeah, and we'll talk about that when that comes out, because Thomas
already been
Healy,
one.
it's already out.
No, there's already been one in the past with.
The old. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Thomas Healy, friend to the show, was telling us when he was on one of the Spawn reviews we did a few months back about the miniseries a little bit, and it sounds like it's gonna be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, Rat City, guys. I know, talking behind the scenes before we went live, various opinions about this. I would say I'm just gonna hit play here. And we're just gonna dive into the book, and we can talk about it, because I know right off the bat, I'll just say it wasn't what I thought it was going to be when I started reading it. I'm trying to give most everything a chance, but I said this to Jay when he and I were just talking. There's the beginning of this I thought was really confusing. Did anybody else feel that way?
They did drop you off in a place where you're unfamiliar. The only thing I would say was weird is like the how they have like the aesthetics to tell me it's another language, like things like that. You know, I don't think it's needed. Like it's English. Let it be English.
Right.
They've been doing that a lot with that asterisk or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They tried to like make it different, but not at the same time. I definitely was like, it's a lot of characters to jump in on page 2.
Absolutely.
Here's the problem with this book, is like it you don't know who the lead character is for this book until you're like halfway through. And then if you're gonna do that, I think you could have started off this story with like focusing on him, like with his head down, internally thinking, looking up, seeing the crew, and then you get into the scene. So you know he's the main character that you're going to be following, instead of this Rainbow Six kind of scene here, or Navy SEAL scene. Like it's right out of like Osama bin Laden being assassinated. So like it's like, and you're like, okay, like this is who's what doing, like, and it's like, oh, there's one in every crowd. Like the tropes are really heavy in this. It's very frantic. It's going in a direction, but it deviates off into multiple other little directions as well, but circle back. It's a lot right off the get-go, and it turns the reader off instantly. I don't know if you could.
Is this issue 1 or 2? Just to like.
This is issue 1.
This is issue 1. I saw this on the rack. I didn't know if I wanted to purchase it or not.
I think aesthetically it looks cool, and the idea behind it, I could get behind. I like the idea of like a futuristic kind of Spawn character with different, characteristics, with all the like armor, robotic nanobites. I thought that was actually kind of a cool concept. I thought getting into the issue, so basically, this is a kind of a SEAL Team 6 kind of thing, right? They're doing a hit. Whether or not these people deserve to be hit is kind of the mystery of the scene. They're basically just following orders. But I was confused because I'm like, all right, there was nothing that really said this existed in a different timeline, right? There was no.
No, they oh yeah, they said the future, yeah.
Yeah, so it's confusing a little bit. We feel like it's put into spoiler. It's different different, multiverse kind of thing. But I just saw it was really odd just the way it started. I'm like, all right, I'm kind of getting pulled into the story a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of tropey with the team on a kill mission here. They're going in. One of the guys is a real dick, this Becker character. He's just basically taking every opportunity he can to kill what seems like to be innocent people that don't need to be killed. So he seems like a loose cannon, kind of tropey, but that didn't really bother me so much. What bothered me in this scene was all of the needless code names that one I could not pronounce because that's just me, right? But there are some
same.
names I'm just like, how do you say that? Like, all right, everybody's one. Let's just say one something, or just be code red or blue or do the
Deutsch
Reservoir Dogs
one,
thing,
Alcazar, Garibi, and then Becker and Fiden. Like it's just like a lot of mumbo jumbo.
A lot. Yeah.
And there's a lot of dialogue too, but also it's very predictable. Like with Becker, like they're setting something up for the future with him.
Yeah, he's got to be somebody. Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. Not a one and done character.
Fuck it, I don't care. So this is so I know.
Speak freely. It's all good.
No, I had to think for a second, but fuck it. I noticed the writer of this book actually used to work at the Cooper School as a writer teacher.
Oh, right on.
During my years, she came in. It didn't really work out. Like I wasn't really feeling up on the way that she was teaching personally. Okay. There was definitely some disagreements between how like she was conveying the information, the projects that she worked on for writing different books.
Gotcha.
And so I'm not surprised how like, you guys are breaking this down, and I'm like, well, that's why, because
that's some inside information.
Yeah, for example, like there was a moment where I was in the middle of making, Voyage was made, right? I just self-published, my first anthology novel, and and when that was like already out there and people knew, all the teachers knew and stuff like that, and I was working on some scripts for the next issues or whatever Voyage project I was working on, and I remember I was asking her something personally, like while she was teaching about like going over the script and stuff, and very aggressively with a snide comment, like with like somewhat of like her mix, like she was like, who's Sonderon? Like who's any of these characters?
Oh, I got you.
And there was posters of like in the classroom of my character like right next to her, like she could see it with the title, and I was I don't know, I just felt like insulted with that. So I was seeing this, I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised.
Well, I will say this, I feel like this is unlike the main book in Spawn right now. This has much more of a modern storytelling in comics that I'm not a big fan of. Whereas Spawn, you know what I'm saying with that? Like it's like the modern way that comics are told now,
for
like
your modern audience,
right?
I'll call it out. There's a lot of DEI in this shit. It's which is fine, but if you're gonna do that, write a good book. This is a hot mess. I hate to say it, but like this writing is terrible. And I said that in the back room. I don't like to say that about anything Spawn, but this is not very good. It's very predictable. It's very frantic. It's very hard to follow. You got a lot of dialogue that
throw a lot at you.
It's a lot of it. It's like a lot of it is not even needed because you're seeing it in the frame that you're looking at. So like it's just, there's a lot there that she needs to take out. Plus, I think the way she set up this story is so tropey and predictable, and it's almost like she's like went to school with Dave Filoni and decided, I'm going to take this from this movie, take this from this movie, and I'm going to take this from this comic, and I'm going to just put it in here and try to make it fit. It just, and it doesn't work.
from her previous projects, she's written like a filler issue for Daredevil. She's wrote her series called M3, and those books like M3, and this is where you can call out stuff like that, where in the M3 book where the whole book was traced over. Like,
So-
and the editor, well, she was editing her own book and stuff. There's a panel in that book still where you could see a coffee mug that was traced over, and there's a portion of that coffee mug that was underneath the layer that was at an opacity of 100%. You could see the handle of a coffee cup in the panel that was traced over. I was like,
Go ahead,
Positives.
Paul. Yes, I was just going to say we don't want to. We like I said, there's a variety of different thoughts on this panel. Yes, give us some positives on this.
Let's go. First
yeah.
off, technology looks cool. I like the technology. I like the gear. Wish I made some of the designs. I wish I got some of those. The artwork, I thought the artwork was really good too.
Yeah, artwork's good. Artwork's very good.
The expressions,
Good storytelling.
Even the kills, like that kill shot, even when they kill the kid in the previous page, that was pretty cool. I see what you guys mean. Like, it's like, oh, the kids that has no idea the dad's an asshole gets shot, and then it's like, then the dad, he's like, I'm a good guy, and then gets shot. There's clearly like a lot in there that that could have been spaced out, but they're clearly like how to get the whole giant origin in this book. Like, that was their mission, was to get
and it was a 32
exactly
page book. So it's a bigger
move forward.
Bigger book than they usually put out with like the Spawn main book, which I think is right around 20 pages. This was 32.
Same, like I was just like, whatever, I just moved on.
That's what I did too. I just glazed over it.
But I did like the tech. I did like how, I don't think his name's Al Simmons. I think he's Peter, right?
Peter.
I'm trying here.
Peter something.
God bless your soul.
Yeah, like it was cool. Like that they get the robot parts and stuff like that, and that's how it would be. It's like, oh yeah,
I like that.
Like, fuck you. And I like what they're doing in all the Spawn books. How they make the lettering with the image. They started that first. I'm pretty sure it was in one of Brett Booth's books that he did in Gunslinger, where it says like womb, like they do that. My letterer tried doing that. I didn't think it worked with my book. I told her that I got rid of that shit. But I think it looks cool here. I think it is a lot of characters, but excluding that, I definitely think like for example, like the only two characters that mattered were the two at the end, right? So you could have just cut all those other people out.
And so, like, diving into the story, you got this team coming in there. They've got a mission to basically take out a target. You get to this page, and they bust into this room, and it's kind of that old, like, this guy is trying to say something like, the government lies, basically trying to say, like, you don't know what they're really up to. Yeah. This lady, this chick character, I can't remember her name, tries to scan his face and make sure that he is the right target to take out. And this Becker guy, who we already discussed is the dick of the group, just takes him out when it sounds like he's about to say something meaningful, right? In the story, like to reveal something. So
which is right off the get-go, you have this like high level assassination group, and this guy's like already breaching and breaking protocol
twice.
By not and it's just like, yeah, okay, like you already lost me. So I mean,
well, I like that the one character, I can't remember his name, said, if he breaks protocol, I'm gonna take him out myself. And like, he does it again. And like, well, why did you again? Take him out at some point? Like,
and did you take him out? No.
Cannon.
Yeah, true. But Peter Simmons is cool.
Yeah. So whatever his last name is, I don't know if it's Simmons, but Peter something, because I don't think he's.
Look at that panel, like him with the face up close from the explosion.
The art.
This was a great panel. I really enjoyed this.
And I usually Spawn's the only one that really did really well with that. Those long type panels.
Yeah, the vertical. Yeah.
So I mean, like other comics don't do it right.
So the story in the beginning of this is basically, when you read it, you feel like you've read this. When we say trope, right? You feel like you've just read this scene before, right? A team goes in. It's almost like, what's that Chris Pratt movie or series that came out last year? same kind of thing. He and his team, it was a Prime series. He and his team go in.
Yeah,
They get ambushed. They almost all get killed.
They're terminals.
Yes, the terminals.
Terminalist.
It kind of reminded me of that. Like a team goes in to do a mission. It's shrouded in kind of mystery. They're escaping, and everybody gets killed for the most part. We end this scene with almost seemingly everyone dying. Yeah,
clearly he's got fucked on purpose.
Yeah, somebody set him up. It's pretty obvious. It seems that way.
Yeah, the other guy's not there, the bad guy.
Yeah, we never see Becker again after that last time, and I'm assuming that he'll probably pop up later as the main bad guy.
Is he a main guy, bad guy, or is he like working for, as you flip the page, is he also an agent for this pharmatech solutions head group, like trying to get these super soldiers, built with all these cyber, like this is where it goes from like a Rainbow Six game into Cyberpunk Edge Runners. It's like, I'm like, okay, all right, we're building RoboCop. So let's go with this. The dialogue and the information that's getting flooded over you is just like overwhelming.
Lots of dialogue. Lots of script.
And you're like, okay.
Let me give you a quote. It was like Frankenstein or that children's rhyme about Humpty something falling off a wall.
Yeah. Jesus. And again, the Spawn review, we review comics. We're not about bashing this stuff, but we give honest opinions. We've given honest opinions about the stuff we absolutely love, and we gush over it like we're fanboys because that's what we are. There are some things that are issues as far as us being readers when it comes to this book. A lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. I will say that. A lot of it is in the writing. Didn't get me. The art, I thought it's been pretty good. It's got kind of
this guy too is sick. The guy with on the bottom right with the eye, the doctor. He looked awesome.
Yeah, a lot of character designs are very cool.
But why do I need to care about this character? There's nothing there.
Oh, Peter,
there's nothing there. Why do I want to follow this character? Like
they definitely should have called him Al Simmons, because when I read it again, I was like Peter.
They should have. Like he should have been another version of Al. If this is a multiverse, which is supposedly supposed to be. He should have been some kind of futuristic version of Al Simmons. Would have made a little bit more sense. But one of the confusing things I've thought in this as well is that the narrator is clearly not any of these people, because the narrator refers to Peter a ton of times as well as a lot of the other characters. So again, the book ends and you're just kind of like, who is actually talking here? We never get to see it.
Probably Spawn.
Al Simmons, yeah. That's
multiverse Spawn.
Oh well, I mean. The way that it ends, that could be, that'd be interesting. So anyway, this secret government, kind of almost like Deadpool, right? Like they're putting these guys back together. All these guys have had their limbs blown off in the line of duty and everything. They inject nanobots into them, and they basically regrow their limbs as far as these mechanical limbs, or enhancing them or whatever. They go through this program. And everybody seems to disappear, right? Like everybody that's in that class, the page before, there's like 6 people they're entering the same kind of program with him, and everybody one at a time gets called away, right? And then just kind of disappears. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, when they're talking about the characters, like, do you remember who they are?
No.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know who the characters are. There's no attachment to anybody. I think you.
Peter is the only one I remember, right? Because he's just the guy that we basically follow. Like that's the only guy I really remember as far as names go. Becker, because he was the dick killing all the innocent people.
Yeah,
I remember that.
You're lost already. Like it's just
these 2 pages I thought were written well. You got what you needed, and you move forward.
This was probably the best part of the book, right? Like when you actually get into the program. And Peter here thinks he's going through his program, going to be better, right? He's doing everything he can in the story. He's pushing himself. He's getting stronger. He's feeling good. And then you get these 2 doctors talking, behind Peter's back, basically saying like he's gone as far as he can go. Basically, he's not getting what we want out of him. What do we need? What do we think they need? We have no idea. That's kind of the mystery in the story. What are they looking for? What is he supposed to be getting out of with this technology? And they basically wash him out of the program. But here's the kicker. He gets to keep all the technology. You're like, I thought that was, we can't use you. Basically, get the hell out of here. But good news, you get to keep your legs. I'm like, okay. What's up, Rick? Remember the channel?
What's up, Rick?
My man.
it's I get it. We're trying to find something positive. The artwork is done really good.
Yeah, the artwork I like. I really do. I thought it was really good.
I just like the writing is in the story is
Actually, yeah, I think it got better from this page. This pacing worked.
It did. Did you get a different book than me?
I'll say that the ending of the book, not the entire ending of the book, because I was a little confused at this. And again, I think this, reading this book, you kind of have to make sure that you read Spawn, right? That you kind of know what's going on, because we just skipped to a point where we go back to, I think, issue 301 or whatever in 2019. It says when Spawn did the the necro bomb. Or the net.
Oh, I didn't even know that was correlated to this.
The necroplasmic detonation.
Yeah. So if you don't know what that was,
yeah,
completely lost.
Yeah. If you didn't know what that was,
wait, was that? Is there at least because that happened in issue 300, right?
Yeah.
So if that was the case,
301.
Is there a tab?
300 and 301 again.
Was that tab? Like, is there a box that says it happened in issue?
No,
300?
and I was going to bring up there should have been some kind of some kind of asterisk that said C30 Spawn 301 or something, or happened in 301, because I caught the reference, but I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, all right, was this playing off of? For a second, I was like, we talking about 350? Or we talking about 300? And I was like, oh no, okay, we're talking about going all the way back 2019. So you get this thing happening in the main title, and then it kind of reveals that this is an alternate reality, right? And it's whatever happened with that necro detonation, it sent this wave or something throughout all the different realities in Spawn, and here we are in whatever world this is. And I think we get a reference of, this says like 211. Is that the world? Did you guys catch that where it says
it's 2111?
Okay, so that's not a world. That's
I think it's
a
the year. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if that was like the world, like 2111. Okay, it's the year 2111 in this timeline when this happens, and so this world is getting rocked by this necro blast wave, or whatever, So that's kind of where we pick up this scene, and from this point on, again, I'm confused, right?
Yeah.
As a reader, I'm confused by what exactly is going on. Okay, you can tell me that the blast happened in Spawn. We all read it. Spawn issue 300, 301.
I read it and I forgot it.
It's okay. There you go. I actually kind of forgot it too. I had to go back and reference it.
I didn't even know that was the thing. I thought it was just like this is an explosion,
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because he's in the sewer and you're like, what is this shit? And he's literally lying in shit. So like I'm the irony. It's because I'm like, honestly, this book, and I'm not afraid to say this, but this book it's all over the map. It really is. Yeah. It's really trying to grab from all over the place and try to cram it in here. There's a ton of information. I think you said it best, Paul. Just like trying to overwhelm you with information and put into like this this canon of this character right off the get-go, and you still don't know this character at the end. You're still like lost, and you're like, who the fuck cares about this guy? I don't even know anything about this guy.
And the only thing I like, he's not Spawn yet. It's Spawn too.
Right. That's the other confusing part is we haven't even got to anything. Like, I'm reading this book, I'm like, where are the heaven and hell elements? Where is the supernatural elements in this book? And there's none so far. I haven't read issue 2, but just going off of issue 1, I am so confused as to what is going on and how does this really correlate to Spawn. And you really don't even find out in this issue how it does, except at the very end. They try to pull it together, but that's about it. Zach, I know you're going to say something.
The costume on the cover looked cool.
Awesome design.
I really dug that, but like
if you would have dropped you off in the middle with that costume, page 1 of him just beating the shit out of someone, you'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah. But I'm going to be honest. The reason why, biggest factor, because I didn't read this book, so going off of all the information you guys are saying through this, the reason why this is failing big time is because Spawn's origin story doesn't get told. Like, through all the all his generational counterparts and whatnot, their origins were never given first, and then they are spawned. It's
Right.
always here
Great
they
point.
are, spawn, and then you read them and you find out through their tattered memories that this is how it happened. And it's
No, that's a
always
great
in
point.
correlation to what the hell they're dealing with. And that's where it all meshes in together. Where this is like, it's fucking spoon feeding us with information. You're like, here's
I
all
don't
this
think
stuff
it's
for you to
spoon
know
feeding.
now.
It's fucking hosing you down, dude.
Yes.
Well, again,
Yes.
when
Yeah.
I say modern storytelling, what I'm talking about is there is a way I think that comic books.
I feel so bad. We're just shitting on this.
Well, here's the thing.
I know.
We do a lot of praise. We do a lot of praise
Yeah.
on this.
A lot of praise
on this channel. So I mean, this every once in a while we're going to come across something we don't like it. We're just
And all
that's
I did
what we
was
are,
tell
you
Joe, I
know?
was like, I love Spawn so much. I was like, yo, get me on the thing. And now we're on this. We're like, you know what?
I think that's why
the worst
sometimes
week to start.
I think that's why sometimes books can be disappointing, right? Because
Yeah.
we love Spawn so much, right?
Yeah.
And so we want to dive into these other books and we want to experience the same kind of, like, let's expand it. You know, I love the fact that there's a universe. I love the fact that new titles are dropping, new stories, new characters. I think that's great. You know, we've talked about it before. This one just didn't hit with me. And again, the modern storytelling I'm talking about is there is a way that I think that comic books are told, right? There's beats, there's pacing, there's intrigue of how you grab the reader at the beginning of the story, you know, how you're telling the story, how you're presenting the mystery, all that kind of stuff throughout the history of comics. Modern day storytelling in comics, I feel like throws that completely out the window, right? And you tell a story that you would see more or less on, you know, a TV series, right? That's the formula that comic books in some, for a lot of writers in the mainstream, I feel are going, which is why I don't click with a lot of stuff at Marvel or DC. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, here's the problem with modern storytelling because it's reboot, right? This
Yes.
is a reboot from the original Spawn and how he became who he was with Al Simmons. Out on a mission, gets killed, even though he was by his partner, but he dies on a mission, right? We see this hint of this green lightning bolt and everything. They were set up. That's what they're kind of hinting at. So it was to take out this infantry, to take out these people, and it's kind of like rebooting and modernizing the story that was originally written by Todd McFarlane, and everything that's been put in here, even the color schemes, is kind of like if you turn the page, it's like really, like we really got to, like, the oranges, the purples, the pinks, the yellows, like we don't see that like out in the streets. That's not like I'm sure like you want to, you know, tell the story, but like you're really you're forcing a message in here. If you look at it, they're putting a message in. You saying modern, you're right, but there's a lot of other things like strong messaging in here with it. So
Christian, you are wrenched up. Go ahead and drop links in the chat, links for yourself, links for others, and any moderator that's in our chat, feel free to do the same as well. We like to promote as many people as we can in the chat. Artists, creators, absolutely go for it. If anybody wants a wrench, just ask me, I'll give it to you. Just don't abuse it, or I'll have to take it away, like Von Stugel. All right, go ahead.
You know, I was gonna say, in all intents and purposes, I don't think Rat City is anything Spawn like. I don't think it is Spawn. It's something else entirely.
It doesn't feel
different
like,
by
yeah.
using the same shit that Jay just said. On it, when I first saw that cover, I didn't buy it. I was thinking about it. Where, you know, like, you know, we're always figuring out buying other stuff that, you know, kind of. But when I saw this cover, what I thought in my head that this book was, where, you know, of course, it was going to be a futuristic Spawn thing, but he was probably going to go up against, what do you call the Dover Demon or Mothman? I forget what you call them. They're
Cryptids.
cryptids. Yeah, I thought it would have been a futuristic tale where you see a futuristic Spawn going up against these demonic cryptids that are somewhat related to hell, and that it's just, you know, even in the future, no matter what Al did when he fell, it just things just got haywire. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That was what I thought the book was going to be about. Hearing this, I'm not really surprised.
Well, that's
Honestly.
my problem is that I don't see where it relates to Spawn except for this little bit that we get the 4 pages at the end of the book where we kind of gets tied into the world. Getting back to the story real quick. So this necro blast is going through now that's ravaging this entire plane of existence in this realm, is affecting everybody that had the nanobots and the robotic extremities, and not just Peter, but everybody that's in the program. So we see a montage here of like
the whole
everybody's
power went out everywhere.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
there's something happening though, like specifically to their the robotic parts, and we kind of see that, and this is another thing that kind of confuses me. I was telling Jay about this before we went live, that first off, people just take the chance to go riot, I guess, and loot. Apparently, like after this, they take about 2 seconds for this blast to hit the city, and he comes up from this hole that he's been digging in because he's the only work he can get now, and everyone's just out looting the city, doing whatever they want to do. And he gets into a fight, and basically they're using this fight to show that he's got the abilities. I mean, yeah, he was trained for this kind of stuff, but they kind of mentioned that something else kind of takes over. Do you understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I hate
this
this
scene?
double page. I'm sorry, I hate this double.
I'm not a
page.
big fan of the punch. I do like this kick down here though, on the bottom right.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
like
nice
the drawing
kick.
of the kick. That's a nice kick. But yeah, if you're gonna have a double page, I would have done something a little different than just
well,
there's not
like,
enough motion
there's-
in that punch. It's not dynamic enough.
no, and like there's so many, like you got the bat with the barbed wire, you got just a lot there. You got a lot of people, like you got a lot of cyberpunk stuff going on, people with pink hair, green hair, blue hair. You have like it's just it's his hair is another thing. Like it's just all like stereotypical. Like it's very it's not done well. I'm sorry.
Don't be
it's just-
sorry. Just say it.
I just
I mean,
like I
hey,
just I
we're all
don't I
about-
don't. It's
We're
it's-
all about
it-
opinions. I mean, it's your opinion.
I
like
just
this,
I,
that's what the
I
show is
just
about.
I
We
think
give a
this
lot of
writer
praise.
I think
you know,
this
we
writer
praise them.
she is trying to put out her message, and it seems like you like what you said, modern people, they're a bunch of activists, and this is what she wants to promote. And the writing sloppy, the storytelling is sloppy. It just doesn't hit.
Jay, I love you.
Yeah,
So we get to the end scene of the book. After all that stuff and fighting with some punks in the street, he comes back to his place. Reminds me a lot of Fifth Element feel to his apartment.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it reminds me a lot of that.
Again, purples and yellows, and it's just the color tones. It's just like that's the only thing they can do
Yeah,
to like
that
to
atmospheric,
represent people, right?
Well, let me just say
The-
there's a handful of colors on this. FCO did 4 pages and they were fantastic. The other 2 colorists, I
Wait, they
have
three
liked.
colorists on here.
Yeah, J. David Ramos, who I do like, did pages 1 through 20, and then FCO did pages 21 through 24, and then the last 6 pages of the book, or actually 7 pages. Sorry,
Why'd they do that?
I don't know. I have no idea why they split it up. But for the most part, the early colors of this book, up until you get to this last guy, and that's what we're looking at right now. I was not a big fan of the last guy's colors, the last colorist, I guess, the last 7 pages.
Iazoli.
Yeah. But so in this scene, he goes through all this crazy shit, right? We follow this character through the beginning of the story, basically getting his limbs blown off, or his legs at least, going through this program, trying to rehabilitate, trying to get to the heights that they want him to go, to being told he's not good enough, to being washed out, to going to work in a fixing the road or whatever you want to say it, to getting in fights with rioters. And he comes back after all of that, and his buddy has a message for him. And instead of listening to his buddy's message, he cuts it off because he's like, I'm just sick of this shit. To me, I would just be like, that's at the point when your buddy, after all this weird shit happened, and he's in that office with the doctor earlier talking about like, hey, what happened to these other patients that were in this program with me? and they won't tell me at all what's going on. And then his buddy, who was in the program, comes in and says, "Hey, there's some weird shit going on. I can't talk about it here." And he's just like, "I don't want to pay attention to it," and shuts it down. I wasn't a fan of that. Like, I thought that didn't make sense to me in the story. Like, to me, that would have been like the intriguing thing of like, all right, I need to meet up with my buddy. Maybe I meet up with him. He's dead before you can tell me what's going on. The mystery continues. And this was just kind of like, no, I don't care. I need to get these legs off, which is what he's trying to do here. Which again, I guess in this scene too. So guys, tell me what you think about this. He's trying to get these legs off, right?
Yeah, he doesn't want to walk anymore. He's
right. Yeah. He's just, he's done with it. But now, because again, this has to be related to the necroblast, right? Something got in the armor. Same thing with the other people they showed in the montage. Something got in their armor, right? And so now his armor's reacting in a way. We see the spawn, the necro kind of spawn power color that we're used to seeing, kind of taking over, tormenting him or doing whatever it's doing to him, electrifying him. I don't know. And then he sees the very last page of the book. He sees an image of actual Spawn. Now, I don't know if it's Spawn from the main universe or if it's a Spawn in this universe.
Looks like I have no idea. Spawn.
Yeah. So my thought process is, the interesting story they put together is like, what is it about the armor, right? What is it about the robot, the nanobots that has some kind of connection? Again, the supernatural connection to this book isn't there, right? The symbiote comes from hell, right? It's bonded to the person. That's the story of Spawn. The character of all the Spawns have a symbiote. I don't know what's going on with this version of Spawn and how it ties in any way to Spawn itself.
I'm gonna just say this is the worst ending to a book I think I've.
Yeah, I was really lost. There was a lot of confusing things. The art made the book like doable,
Yeah, the art. Yeah,
I bought it for the art.
Me too.
Like when I saw the cover, I was like, cool. They can't fuck this up.
Before I even read the book, I flipped through it after I bought. Like, I didn't buy this right off the bat. I think I was 4 issues behind. I bought all 4 of them. I flipped through a couple of them just to see what it was like. And I remember even before I read it, I was flipping through the book. I was like, man, that first book doesn't even really have anything to do, like any Spawn costumes or anything in it. And I was kind of a little put off by that, just flipping through it. And then reading it, I was kind of
an ongoing, right?
Yeah, it's ongoing. Yeah. And so, it's
for now.
It picks up in issue 2. I feel like you're going to see more. I thought issue 1 read more like an issue 0. Like that's what it felt to me, not necessarily like an issue 1. Because again, you look at Spawn 1, Gunslinger 1, some of these other, they do a good job, like Zach was saying,
great.
Pulls you into the story, pulls you into the mystery of the character. You get some fun Spawn type action. I can't remember who was in here. Someone said that it just didn't have the feeling of Spawn, and I agree. Like, this book just didn't have that Spawn feeling. And that was probably my most disappointing because, it wasn't up to par in what I think that they've set the bar for Spawn's books. When you think of Spawn, Gunslinger, Scorched, King Spawn, I think those 4 titles are their main titles, right? And so now a lot of these offshoot titles, Rat City, Sam and Twitch, Monolith,
it's interesting.
Misery. Yeah, Misery.
It's interesting to see these off titles, right? But you can keep doing that, but like that's a high risk you're running because Spawn's such a huge thing, and you can be able to pull in the finances to make more by spreading that world out in different titles. But if you keep doing that, then you get this as a result a few more times, it's gonna leave the people who are fans kind of like speculating whether the next new title of something new is coming out. They're probably not going to pick it up. They're just going to stick to the same.
They will because it's either $2.99 or $3.99, and I picked up 3 more number 1s after this.
I will say that is the great thing. The price point on these books are good.
32 pages, $4.
That's
You
a
know,
good
yeah, they
Um,
reused the pages, but
I want my money back. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Like
shit.
this. Yeah, I want my money back because this is the most bland bullshit I've read in a long time.
Jay, I
I hate it. I fucking hate it.
Damn.
Everything about it. It's not Spawn. It has no direction to it. The ending sucks balls. The direction that they're trying to go with this is like I'm surprised with this garbage. Like the artwork's fantastic, but this is clearly message sending, and I don't care for this shit. Like it's to me, I would I could just throw this in the garbage. I just don't care for it. I'm really disappointed. Sam and Twitch, you know the characters, you know what you're getting there. You have some groundwork with those guys. The foundation's been laid. You know what they're about. This, if you're gonna grab someone's attention, you need to like the first book has to be a fucking banger, and you have to be heavily involved in the character that you want your main character. This character I don't give a shit about. I don't even know. Like it's so predictable. This storyline. It's I'm gonna call it out, and I would be mad at myself if I didn't call it out because I am objectively it's not good.
Oh.
So
No, I get where you're coming from with that, and I would say for a first issue, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't pulled into the story. It didn't make me really want to go forward and read the next issue, which, I thought potentially wise because of the character design, the idea of having a futuristic Spawn. You can bring in some of the steampunk, at aspects of the character. I think it would have been way better if it really did lean into more of the usual Spawn kind of stuff with the heaven and hell, the supernatural, but be in a futuristic timeline, kind of like what Dennis Kelly's saying here. I feel like they tried. This either wasn't originally a Spawn book and they tried to put it into the Spawn universe by tweaking a few things, or they tried to do something completely original and different, which kudos to people that tried to do that. No problem there. It just wasn't something I thought was done well. I didn't really like it.
If I may, I gotta be honest with you. Like, Spawn, even though he's been around for like fucking 20 years, 30 years, right? He has a constant theme that's always going for him, and it's in a way limited because that formula works, right? And with these titles, it gives an opportunity to like really branch all that stuff out. And if you're gonna do that, then why the fuck are you letting shit like this slide?
But I think a lot of people did enjoy it because I totally forgot too when I was at San Diego Comic-Con. His San Diego Comic-Con exclusive was for Rat City.
Interesting.
It was for Rat City 1.
Well,
I just looked it up, and he did a special cover for it, black and white.
That would be, art-wise, hell yeah, let's go. Like I said, character design is great. It's a great design. I love it. Like some of the stuff.
Todd McFarlane's obviously going to love it because it's Spawn. So, of course, he's going to support that and do what Todd does. But, I don't know. I just feel like he didn't have as much eyes on this to actually see what's going on with this book than we're led on to believe.
Dude, it's way he didn't read this book thoroughly before he released it, dude. And then did a special San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Well, here's the thing. They hired a female writer. They focused on another black character. I'm going to call it for what it is. This is ESG all over it. This is how you get your money.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that. I really, really do hate to say that, but that's the world we live in right now. Look at Disney. Look at like everything, Amazon, everything. That's how they cover their ass. BlackRock and Vanguard and everything. If you have ESG, even if it fails, you get your money. Like there's no accountability. There's no failure. You just you just put out stuff, and if you're getting money, what does it matter?
To me, when it breaks down to all, I've pushed back on that stuff a lot when it comes to a lot of books. This just boiling down to the story, I just didn't think it was very good. We could go into a lot of reasons why that was. I didn't care that it was a female writer. I didn't care that it was another black Spawn. None of that matters. The fact that the story itself was not a big hit to me because it could have been so much better than what it was. And when I was reading it, it didn't feel like a Spawn book. It didn't feel like it fit in the Spawn world. It felt like, round peg into a square hole. That's what it's trying to do. Like they're trying to make this book work in the Spawn stuff, so who knows going forward. I mean, I encourage everybody to make up your own decisions. This is our opinions that we give on the show based on, what we like as comic readers. We give a ton of praise on this show to Spawn. That's what we do, so every once in a while we're going to run into something we don't like, and you were honest about it, why we don't like it. So it was disappointing. That's my biggest thing. It was disappointing. I wanted it to be really, really good, and I just didn't like it. So that's what it is.
This is the first book where it really hit me in the face. Like, and I hate like I don't really care about that shit, to be honest. But this is like the first time like from a Spawn series that it really smacked me in the face of like, oh, okay, this is what they're doing here. It was really evident.
And we'll have to see moving forward if that's stuff that because I know we did a Sandwich Witch last week. I liked it. Sean liked it. Jay wasn't a huge fan of it. And I like having panels here where we have difference of opinions, because can't always have stuff where we just all gush about the same thing, which is what we do over the main Spawn title, because universally we all love it. So diving into some of these other titles, I like just seeing where everyone's sitting, because I feel like it's a good measuring stick of the readers. Like Kayla's saying here, and she works in the shop, she sees a lot of like the behind the scenes stuff when it comes to sales and whatnot. She's been in the chat saying, there's only really 3 titles that the Spawn universe has put out that don't sell very well. And I could probably say it's probably not Spawn, it's not Gunslinger, it's not Scorch, it's not King Spawn. Like those 4 seem to be the big focus that people really seem to like. These offshoot books, whether they're miniseries or whatever, they could be the hit or miss books, right? And we'll just see as they go. But Kayla, I do agree. She says the next Spawn book that's going to be a banger is that medieval Spawn book. I am looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a killer. I can't wait for that to hit. Also, Jimmy Palmiotti is doing it.
Yeah, the Gunslinger.
The Gunslinger or whatever. I'm looking forward to that as well. I think that's going to be really good. Yep.
Oh God, I don't know if he wants me to review it because I'm like But I'm trying to bring an objective opinion to it.
No,
I really absolutely am. Like, and when I read something like this, because I love Spawn. I'm a huge Spawn fan, and I don't care if you're male, female, whatever. But this just was right in my face. I was just really shocked by it. I was taken back by it. I was just like, what the hell is this? This is not Spawn. This is not what we've come to love. Like Sam and Twitch it's a cool book because we know the characters, but it's kind of predictable in a way. So I'm curious where that's going to go.
One with that too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
didn't like the lines and the words above it.
The lettering. Yeah.
We talked about that last week. Yeah, it was a little off-putting, the script. Or not the script, but the text. Yeah, it was a little off-putting with the text.
It's the same thing. It's not like they didn't have time. Like, you could have easily started off first 4 pages, Spawn beating the shit out of a bunch of bad guys, then go back, and it would be a lot easier to set in. Or maybe page 4 is like him fighting that guy that was a piece of shit in the beginning. And then you're like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, I was definitely lost. And I read it again too. And you guys were saying things I didn't even pick up on. So I guess I was really lost. But, I actually did pick up issue 2. And because I was looking through the boxes to find this before, and it just clicked back in my head. And I got to read that again too, because I gotta see. But I'm pretty sure it's just it's just tech based kind of. It's
I've got all the Sam and Twitch issues so far that's been out. I haven't read them all.
And I'm pretty sure they're redoing it too. They're going to do another new miniseries where it starts from 1, right? Or
because Thomas Healy is going to be writing it.
Okay.
And I'm interested to see what he's going to do with that, because he's going to take on the next Sam and Twitch series, which, by the way, on Ott and stuff in 2 weeks, Thomas is going to come on and talk about it specifically and let us know what to expect with that series. Go ahead.
Void Eyes, I do have a channel. That's
small
little channel.
You can actually go. I do believe. Let me check. Unless I dropped the ball on this, but I'm pretty sure I've got the links for everybody that's on the show. I have to add Paul in here since he
Except
is
for
a
Paul, man.
new co-host to the show. Let me look. Yeah, Jay. I got his X and I got his YouTube. So if you go into the description of this channel, Void Eyes, there's a link right below. You can check that out. Go sub to him and check that out for sure. All right. Final grades on the book. I guess I could feel like I know what they're going to be. But let's go around. We'll start with Jay.
So leave me for the end. Leave me
Okay,
for the
we'll
end.
leave Jay for the end. Zach, you can't. You didn't even read the book, so I guess we'll go.
No.
Paul, what did you think overall?
Overall, art.
Yeah, give me
great.
a rating and a breakdown.
Art, great. Lettering, kind of confusing. Writing, mid. So I'll give it. Are we doing out of what? 10?
Yeah, 1 out of 10. Yeah.
A 4.
Okay.
Paul, I like you, buddy. I love you.
He's
Just
trying.
like-
Paul
I
is
love
trying
you.
to be so professional with this
Yeah.
shit right now. Like,
Well,
I have a lot of
it's okay.
friends, bro.
I was just gonna say I'll
Yeah.
probably give him more of a professional answer
I'm
as
gonna
well.
walk.
Let me go,
I'm
and then I'm
one
gonna
of
let
these
Jay
towns,
go.
and someone's
'cause
gonna take a chair and just whack me in the back, be like Frat City, you know. So like,
I'll let Jay go after me because he's I can see he's
Okay.
chomping at the
So
bit.
yeah, 4 out of 10. And then also too, like you gotta put in the part, like the designs were really cool. Like I really did like the designs too, though. Like, you know, there was a lot of things that they could have made better, and there's a lot of things that, you know,
Yeah.
was trash.
I will say this. So my rating, the way I would break this book down, I did not like the story at all. I didn't think it was well written. If it was judging a story only, it would be a very, very low grade. But I do have to look at some of the stuff in this book that I did like.
Yeah.
I did like the art.
Yes.
You know, the character design was cool.
Yep.
The concept of what it could have been, it should have gone that way. You know, and that's the disappointing part. The writing really hurt. I mean, that's it. That's just the thing. Like, you know, if I was only picking up this book because of the art, I wouldn't even care. But because we're doing reviews and we're reading it, the story just wasn't good. I didn't like it. It's the kind of storytelling in comics that I don't like, that turns me off of reading these style of comics. So, you know, I'm right around what Paul said, you know, 3-4, somewhere around there.
3.5, 4.
3.54, you know, and because I got to shout out the artists. I did like the art, you know, so because this channel is basically based on art for the most part, I will give a shout out to Z Carlos. I thought he did a pretty good job, and FCO. I've always liked his work as well. So that gets the grades for
Like,
keeping
I don't
it
know if
below-
he's
being
done
lower.
mainstream books, but he would be great for DC, the guy that's doing this shit, you know? So it's like,
Exactly. That's the vibe I got too.
you know, like
Oh,
he would be like a
it's a
great
mainstream
Flash
vibe.
book. I
Yep.
would be like, wow, you know?
Yep, absolutely. All right, Jay, I'm going to give you the floor. You go ahead.
No. First of all,
Give me your
Dennis Kelly, if you finish your book, I'd be more than happy to review your book. I think he's up there. a
Oh,
little more.
right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Joe knows
Yeah.
how I review books. I give
very
an honest
good.
opinion.
Very honest.
It feels like this freaking writer should have, gone to school of Sonntag. But
Oh, Jay, keep going.
so your first book, you really need to get a hold of the reader, and you need to make them feel like they're A, part of the environment, B, invested into the lead character, and C, don't confuse them, overload them with information. All those things were not done in this book. It's like this, what's her name? Erica Schmaltz, whatever her name is. That's
something like that.
Yeah, it seems like she didn't know what the fuck she was doing. She did everything that she, like a writer should. Like, Paul, you're a writer. Joe, you're a writer. Those are 3 things that are significant for a story that you need to put in a book. Agree? So, like, I mean, there's like so much information here. There's a lot of branches going off and then circling back quickly because they didn't want to venture into that, or they just wanted to tease you a little bit. But like, it's it's too much at that point. The artwork is cool, but I mean, it's nothing new. Like it's not like the double page splash. I did not give a shit about it. Like it's not gonna. I didn't wow me. It didn't wow me. The end of the book didn't wow me. It was just predictable. It was just like, okay, I've seen this done before. Like, who cares? So like overall, this book was very bland, very predictable. Obviously, a lot of tropes, pulling and grabbing from a lot of storylines and trying to smush it all together. Like I said, she's like trying to take like a Navy SEALs, Osama bin Laden assassination, put it in there, mix it with Cyberpunk Edge Runners, RoboCop. You got like the original storyline from the Spawn. You have like all these things that she's cramming in here, and it's just it's a Dave Filoni, like from Ahsoka, same thing. So I because it's
okay, man.
Spawn.
It's okay. Just take an aspirin.
I would give this
art, writing, designs. You got to add them all.
the coloring's done awful. Like it's so
even the
stereotyping.
FCO.
I didn't care for it. It's very stereotyping. I just don't care for this book at all. Like even this, like you got him hanging here and you got graffiti. Like look how modern we are. We got graffiti. Like it's just
mine doesn't got graffiti.
Yeah, it's a point. I would say I'm going to be generous and give it a 0.5.
Oh damn!
Whoa!
I would love to get my money back because
you're definitely picking up issue 2, is what I'm hearing.
I have 2, 3, and 4, and now I want all my money back. I'm going to take it back. And like it's either
maybe
that
you
or
change your mind at 3. Maybe you change your mind at 3.
I was just
here's the thing. Here's the thing. If the story gets better, we won't know because this story didn't encourage me to read the second issue. And that's the sucky thing. Like this first issue needed to be more of a banger than it was. Like Jay was saying, I completely agree. Like to me, that's not the kind of issue that the kind of thing that pulls me in to an issue that makes me really intrigued. So that's just it. Again, everybody out there, these are our opinions. Go check it out for yourself. See if you like it. If you do, great. If you don't, it is what it is. We will be back next Monday. Go ahead, Jay.
I was just gonna say, like, I don't know. I got like all these Spawn books here. I have to read them. Yeah, I don't even know what's in 2, 3, or 4. But like, it's so obvious where they're going with like the green lightning, whatever that was. It's like, it's like that they're like, what was his name, Becker? He's going to be an antagonist some point down the line. That there's going to be this pharmaceutical. Was that pharma scientific technology, whatever.
Pharma tech.
Yeah, that's going to be the enemy at some point, like because like
if they don't bring in the supernatural aspect to it, they missed the ball completely, in my opinion. Like if anybody reads this book beyond issue 1 and you report back to us at some point in the chat, you can tell us anytime you come into the chat any books you're reading of the Spawn universe, the stuff you like, the stuff you don't. Even if it's not on topic, I'm interested to hear. But if somebody comes back at some point and says, "Hey, I've read issue 8, 9, 10," and it doesn't touch on the usual Hell Heaven War, then they completely missed the essence of what the Spawn mythos is. Because without that, it doesn't make sense for Spawn. So if he's becoming some kind of weird version of Spawn, alternate version of Spawn in another reality, and he's all techie Spawn, which is cool. It's cool, but without the elements of the Heaven versus Hell war and all the different themes there, I just think that they're gonna miss the ball. Kayla says, me, because I'm a reader, I need to determine after the first story arc. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I am a casual reader of comics, right? I'm here for the art for the most part because we do the show here. I like to review a few of the books, especially with the Spawn stuff, because it's really restoked my excitement to go to the comic book store and get books. We've said this all the time. The main Spawn title, I'm so excited when that drops. I haven't really gotten into a lot of the other titles, but I know Sean, one of our other co-hosts on here, he really loves the Scorched. He really loves
See,
I
didn't
think he
care for
reads
Scorched.
Kingspawn.
I didn't
You
care
know,
for Scorched.
How you
I
said
love
like you wanted to
Kingspawn.
read the next issue after. I just read the last one right after I went to the newest Gunslinger. I thought the Gunslinger was fucking fantastic, and then I
that's
thought
Gunslinger.
another
Yeah,
title right
Gunslinger.
there.
the
So
new Kingspawn was the best one I thought of like all of them.
yeah,
Really?
So
yeah, I
there's
love
the thing.
Kingspawn.
It was him and Cygor just killing everyone.
Oh,
Yeah.
We were just talking before we went live. I wanted to kind of branch off and look at some of these titles that just came out, you know, and see what they're about. But I want to go back and start covering Kingspawn and the Scorched. One, because I know Sean really digs it, and there's stuff that ties into the main book, and I want to kind of see what's going on with that.
Kingspawn 37.
We'll jump in. Yeah, we'll jump into those two going forward. I don't know if I want to go back to issue ones with those, but you know, we'll maybe start covering some of the newer issues when they fall out. Try to bring everybody up to speed on the storyline going forward, and maybe focus on Spawn, Kingspawn, Scorched, Gunslinger.
well, yeah, because Kingspawn,
going forward.
Kingspawn pretty much touched on like the throne, the fight for the throne.
Well,
and then after that, I haven't read. So
Kingspawn right now is just like side quest mission of the vampire shit.
Yeah,
that's sweet.
I think
Oh,
that'd be
fuck,
cool.
sweet.
So
Yeah.
maybe we'll start diving into some more of that stuff going forward. If you're new to this channel and you're just watching this for the first time, this is actually this is the first real negative stream we've had. I don't want to say negative in a bad way, but just negative as
Thanks,
in
bro.
the
Sorry.
yeah, negative in the response, right? Negative in
Not
the
sorry.
response to something that we read, right? And so far in the show, we've covered stuff that we absolutely love and we praise about. So we're honest here. These are honest opinions, you know. We're diving into things. We're spending money. We're buying these titles, and that's just it. When we do a review, it's an honest review. When we're not just here to blow smoke, you know, which we do quite a bit when it comes to the main Spawn title. Speaking of the main Spawn title, next Monday, 9 p.m., we'll be looking at the newest issue of Spawn, issue 356.
I just bought that. It's pretty fucking good, dude.
It's
It's
good.
a
The story
key
continues.
issue.
It is. It's yeah.
Issue.
It's a very some things get revealed. We're not going to go in spoilers right now. We usually like to wait about a week or so before we go talk about the issue after it's been out, so we don't spoil it for anybody. But everybody out there, go out, buy it, read it, make sure you're brushed up on it. We're going to get into it next week and really dive into it, and I think it's going to be really good. Before we get out of here, oh yeah, Zach, how far did you get on that? You want to show everybody? Show off your work.
Pencils are done, so I'm ready to
Oh,
start.
yeah. Look at
Oh,
that. There we
hell yeah.
go.
Nice.
So
Hell yeah.
again, it's
Dude, I
very
love
loose,
that.
very
Nice
loose
posing.
pencils. He's kind of like crouched into the alleyway. There's gonna be a lot of trash, some garbage on the ground, but for the most part, yeah, it just sucks. My camera is not that well.
No,
We got a good sense of it, I think. Yeah.
No,
But
it's coming through.
this-
That's the
I will be heading into the ink straight to that. Joe, I don't know if you want to show. I sent you the message on the image that I'm
Let me see.
putting together a sketchbook that will be available January 1st.
Oh,
for
yeah. Let me bring this
everybody.
up for you.
So that's the cover to it. And yeah, pretty much, dude, it's going to have over a couple hundred drawings of mine.
So this is your sketchbook you're going to be putting out. Very
Mhm.
cool.
It's just going to be very simple. You open it up, fucking artwork. There's going to be some roughs. There's going to be some process stages to some things for the most part. But yeah, no, it's going to, like I said, it will have over a couple hundred drawings from me. So not only drawings from this year, but some of the pieces that I did previous years that I never got to make a sketchbook before. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to throw it in this. And when people buy this, like they're getting all of it.
Nice, man. No, that's going to be awesome. Also, the stuff that you see Zach draw on this show is always for sale. If you follow him on his social media, we got links below. So follow him, go follow him, like him. If you like any of the pieces he does on this show, hit him up in his DMs and grab it up. They're all for sale. And he does some fantastic work. So definitely go his way. All right, we're going to get out of here. Before we do, Paul, since you joined us here for the first time, welcome to the show. I appreciate having you here. Where can everybody find you? What do you do before we get out of here?
Bam, Project Analysis. I'm the writer, editor, publisher. In the year 2090, a speedster named Crimson Pain kills off all the superheroes in existence, and then a Project Nemesis unit rises up to kill off all these supervillains.
Yes.
Check it out. There's no multiverse, no do-over, super action pack. I got 9 books out. ProjectNemesis.com. We ship out orders weekly, and they're fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
And yeah.
I love it. I love that.
And for me, I will
Yes.
just say, come. And for me, I'll just say, come visit me tomorrow night. We're doing Invincible episodes, season 1, episodes 6 and 7 and 8, the finale. And then Thursday we do Terminator 0 episode 2. So we got quite the panel. And then Sunday night, late night with Gooch, which is a banger. So
Hells yes. Zach, what about you?
I pretty much do whatever Jay tells me to do. So I'm gonna be. I just have that. I have that down verbatim every time I stream. I will keep saying it. Like, no, I'll be drawing constantly. I'm actually gonna wrap this up. American Pop drawing.
Oh, 1 second.
Nice.
Gotta wrap that up. So kind of like him rocking out in the skull and stuff. So gotta wrap that up. Wednesday.
I gotta say, Zach, all your stuff's really like getting better, like really improving. That's
dude.
really
Thank
good.
you, dude.
he's been drawing a lot.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's what drawing a lot does, everybody.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, man. Like, it was funny is that today I just got comps from a cover I did for this dude for a crowdfunding campaign. This was also like, a nice treat that I came home to. So I did the variant cover for his book.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So, I don't know. It's nice to see some of the stuff that I've been doing, trying to come into it headway. Because I'm not going to lie, man, it's been a uphill battle for me. So it's, these are like nice treats for me to come home to.
Hells yes. Follow us here in this channel. We'll be back next Monday at 9 p.m. The comic block starts with the Spawn review. And then the very following show at 10:15 or ish is Appreciating Comic Book Art Live. Tonight, we're going to be looking at David Finch's Aphrodite 9, issue 1, the black and white edition, which was really, really cool. So we're going to be jumping on. Kayla's going to be jumping on. Co-host, I think Sean will be on that for that show as well. So if you were in the chat and you're interested in that show, stick around. Automatically direct you to that show as we get out of here. Thursday, Otten Stuff. Me and Sean have a show where we just shoot the shit with other creators. We have the return of B Rose. If people know that is, tune in. Rose is back. It'll be a fun show. So until then, guys, thank you so much for joining us here. Go out, make your own opinions. Be back here next Monday at 9. We're looking at the newest issue of Spawn, and that is going to be amazing. So, as I say, every show, be good to each other. Take care of one another. And as always, picture me naked. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.
Who are you? Spawn. You sent me to hell, Jason. I'm here to return the favor. I'm feeling strange, trapped in